I will answer questions 20, 21 and 22 together. The UK remains deeply concerned by the ongoing conflict and the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. We welcome the positive steps forward in the implementation of the Riyadh Agreement, including the formation of a new inclusive Yemeni cabinet. We condemn in the strongest terms the Houthi attack on Aden Airport, which killed over 25 civilians, and we call on Houthis to cease such attacks and demonstrate renewed commitment to the political process. As my right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, warned in September, Yemen has never looked more likely to slide into famine. We are using our £214 million in aid funding to help around 500,000 vulnerable people each month and enrol 25,000 children into malnutrition prevention programmes. Whilst we share the US concerns about the Houthis' continual attacks on civilians in Yemen and cross-border attacks into Saudi Arabia, we do not intend to prescribe the Houthis at this time, but we will keep this under regular review.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The crisis in Yemen is of great concern to all of us, but it is perfectly clear that Iran is exploiting the conflict for its own ends. Reports of Iran sending advanced UAVs to the Houthis will no doubt only inflame tensions further. Does the Minister agree with me that until Iranian aspirations for regional dominance are curtailed, this conflict, and indeed many others, will continue, and sadly more lives will be lost?
Thank you. We must see an end to Iran's destabilising interference in Yemen, which has stoked further conflict, and we have raised this issue directly with the Iranian government. Iran's provision of weapons to Houthis is in contravention of the UN Security Resolution 2216 and the UN Security Council embargo on the export of weapons by Iran. We remain deeply concerned at Iran's political, financial and military support to a number of militant and proscribed groups in the region, and we will continue working with international partners to dissuade Iran from proliferation and wider destabilising actions.
Let's head up to Scotland with Alison Thewlis. Alison Thewlis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mark Lowcock, the UN Secretary-General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief, has clearly stated that the US's designation of the Houthis as a terrorist group will push Yemen into a famine on a scale not seen for 40 years, and that only a reversal of the US decision will fix this. So could I ask the Minister, what is the UK government doing to avert this catastrophe and get the US administration to change their mind?
Following President Trump's administration's decision to designate the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organisation, we have requested the US put in place comprehensive exemptions to limit humanitarian impact, commercial imports and the UN peace effort. And our priority is to support the UN's peace effort. My right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, will continue to engage with the incoming US administration on this and a number of other important bilateral issues.
Head up to Salford with Rebecca Long-Bailey. Rebecca Long-Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Salford is home to one of the UK's oldest Yemeni communities, as well as charities providing humanitarian relief to the region, and they fear that the US designation would have a devastating impact, as humanitarian access and the ability for food supplies and other goods to reach Yemeni civilians would be severely obstructed. I welcome the comments that the Minister has just made, but will he go one step further? And will he contact President-elect Biden and ask him to revoke the designation when he starts in office?
My right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, I have no doubt will engage at the earliest opportunity with the incoming administration in the White House. I've already made it clear that we have already requested the US put in place comprehensive exemptions to facilitate humanitarian support. We will continue to work both bilaterally with the US and internationally through the UN and others to protect the people suffering in Yemen, to prevent famine where we can, and work with all parties involved to bring this extended conflict to a conclusion.
Let's head to Wales with Shadow Minister Wayne David. Wayne David.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we have heard, from today, President Trump and Mike Pompeo have designated the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organisation. This will make peace in Yemen more difficult to achieve and could now lead to the starvation of over 1 million people. And yet our government has said and done little, and they even abstained in the UN Security Council. Why has the government failed to condemn this obviously dangerous step? And will the government now join with us and call on Joe Biden to reverse this decision as quickly as possible?
Mr. Speaker, the idea that the United Kingdom has not been active on this issue is self-evidently nonsense. This is an issue that I and my Right Honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, have discussed with each other, with the international community, through the United Nations. We have provided significant amounts of humanitarian support to Yemen itself. We have lobbied to ensure that humanitarian access remains. This is a genuine global tragedy, and I am incredibly proud of the work that the government of the United Kingdom has done, both on its own and in conjunction with the international community, to bring this terrible, terrible conflict to a conclusion.
To Minister Duddridge.
The British Government remains concerned at the continued conflict in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, and I urge both sides to end fighting, protect civilians